By now, it should be pretty clear that engagement is essential not only for you to learn English, but to improve the English skills that you already have. But you may not have a whole lot of free time to engage with the English language. I certainly don't have a lot of free time. Well, what if I gave you a technique where you not only don't have to spend a lot of time, but I don't even really want you to do anything? How does that sound? Our brains are pretty incredible. The number one thing that they do is learn. They were made to learn. They don't need you to tell them how to learn. In fact, when we get involved with our brains learning, we generally make things a little bit complicated. In fact, you learned your native language without anybody actually teaching you. Your brain learned by itself. And that's what this technique is all about. Letting your brain do what it does best without you interfering with it. It's called passive listening. Passive listening because I don't want you to listen. I want your brain to listen. I want you to do something else. You put something on. It could be a movie, it could be a series, it could be radio. I prefer something as natural as possible, but you leave the English in the background and you go and do something else. Think about something else. Involve yourself in something else. Allow your brain to do the listening. Don't listen. That's the hard part. It's not going to be very easy. Your brain will want you to get involved. It'll say, "Hey Ed, did you hear what that guy over there just said?" You'll have to tell him, "Hey, I'm busy right now. Can we talk later?" I know it sounds a little bit crazy and it sounds like it won't work, but if you think about it, this is how you learned your native language. Your brain had no language at all. All it heard was a bunch of stuff that it didn't understand, but because it heard it constantly, repeated, it started to understand that certain patterns were being repeated over and over and over again. Certain intonations had certain meanings, and that's how it learns. And it does that naturally. And you need to allow it to, because when you start thinking, you start making that whole process more complicated for your brain. Keep in mind that your brain is always listening. It's listening 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Even when you're sleeping, it's listening and learning. How do I know? Because it happened to me. I was sleeping in front of a TV. I didn't know Portuguese. The TV was on in Portuguese. It had been about 3 months that I'd been constantly engaged with Portuguese on a daily basis, even without understanding, and my brain woke me up while I was sleeping to tell me that it understood the guy on the TV. So how much should you do this? You should do it as much as possible. You don't have to do anything. Your brain is going to be the one doing all of the work. All you have to do is leave it on and ignore it. That in English all the time in the background. Okay, so let's run over that again. Important things to keep in mind. Number one, don't listen, ignore. Try really hard because it's not going to be easy. Your brain's going to want to get you involved. But the sources should be as natural as possible. Movies are great, series are great because nobody is speaking intentionally like I'm speaking right now intentionally. On the news and on YouTube videos, people are usually speaking intentionally because they're explaining things. You want natural speech. NPR.com is great because it's radio, it's talk radio. All they do is talk all day long. They are professional speakers, but there are a lot of natural conversations on NPR.com as well. So enjoy yourself. Remember, do it as much as you can and try really hard not to listen. If you need help with any of that, if you have any questions, you know where to find me. And please check out our other videos for more information too.